You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, let's talk about Stephen A. Smith. I agree with Stephen A. Smith on almost nothing these days. But the one thing that Stephen A. Smith has not backed down from and has been vocal about and is now come out smashing the hell out of Cheryl Reeve, it's the idea of letting trans people in the women's locker rooms, in the women's bathrooms, in the women's sports. Stephen A. Smith, regardless of him working for ESPN, said, nah, I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that. And he throws it out there in Stephen A. Smith's style. And we're going to do a reaction to this. This was on the Stephen A. Smith show. Go subscribe if you want to. But this is him going on a rant about Cheryl Reeve and her trans kid belong shirt that she had on during the Fever game. Oh, he doesn't pull any punches in this rant. Let's do it.
I want to get to a subject that I will openly admit is going to be highly sensitive. Some people are going to try to politicize it. It's not about politics to me. It's a sports story. But I don't give a damn how you feel. I'm not running from it. And that involves the WNBA coach. Her name is Cheryl Reeve. She's a coach in the WNBA. She is the coach of the Minnesota Lynx. And during this weekend, in a game against the Indiana Fever, she was seen wearing a trans kid belong t-shirt. I'm going to repeat that. Trans kid belong t-shirt on Sunday during the game following the remarks from Indiana Fever player Sophie Cunningham. If you remember, this came after Sophie Cunningham defended her past statements on protecting girls from playing sports with transgender athletes. During an ESPN interview, Cunningham denied reports that she hates transgender people but wants to protect girls. If you remember, her quote was, I think that I am here to extend love, but I also think with that love is truth, being honest. And I want to protect young girls in the locker room or young girls in sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men. On several occasions in the past, I've interviewed somebody by the name of Riley Gaines, who's a longtime advocate for biological men staying out of women's sports. Let me state for the record, I've interviewed Riley Gaines on at least 2 occasions.
Riley Gaines was the Kentucky swimmer in the NC2A that had to compete against William Leah Thomas, who was ranked basically 500th in the country in women's swimming. And he decided to switch over and say, oh, I'm a woman. I identify as a woman for the University of Pennsylvania, and went on to literally smash the swimming records. Women's records. Just that quick. And of course, now she's an outspoken advocate for biological men staying the hell out of women's sports.
And I completely support Riley Gaines' position. Her resume speaks for itself, what she was as a swimmer. But I happen to also think she's a fantastic person to talk to, a highly intelligent young lady who's principled. And the thing that shocks me is like, this is not a conversation about being anti-anything. This is a conversation about being pro-girls. Ladies and gentlemen, at some point in time, there has to be the return of common sense.
Oh,
This is not about preaching hate. Nobody is supporting that on this show. Nobody should be supporting that in our society. I am a live and let live kind of guy. I'm concerned.
the return of common sense. Could it be? We got a ways to go, folks.
Conservative fiscally. I can't stand paying these damn high taxes in states like New York, New Jersey, and California. But I'm pretty damn liberal with everything else, meaning live and let live. Until this issue came along. This is not about looking at people who are trans and hating on them or wanting denied their civil rights and civil liberties. That's not what this is about. If you're an adult and those are the decisions that you want to make with your life, I support your right to make those decisions.
By the way, every rally that has taken place in support of Sophie Cunningham's message has been a pro-girl, pro-women's rally. They've been very vocal about the fact that they are not an anti-trans rally. Of course, the left-stream media won't say that out loud. They're not going to say those exact words that just came out of my mouth. They're going to paint it as hateful and any other way they can trigger the left involved in this.
You're a trans individual and you transitioning from male to female, you ain't doing anybody any harm. If that's how you were born, if that's what you believe, if that's what's in your mind, your heart, your psyche, and there's a means upon which to facilitate that transition without harming other people, have at it. I fully support the trans community in that regard. Where you lose me is in two places. Okay? Number one, when you're talking about all your private parts remaining what they are as men and thinking that you get to use girls' bathrooms. I'm not down for that. Number two, when you're trying to compete against women, against girls in women's sports, trying to act like there's no advantage when there's no way in hell that there's no advantage. This is not about being anti-anything. This is about being pro-girls, pro-females, pro-women, pro-ladies. That's what this is about.
It should be noted that you have coaches and players, female in the WNBA, a women's sport, that have sold out women in this. Right up the river. Nah, we're good. Bring whatever swinging dick in here. Put a wig on him. Let him play. There's one in France right now that is ready for the call to come play in the WNBA.
You can't be a male, born a male, transitioning to female, and think that you should have the right to compete with women. Not in basketball, not in football, not in boxing, not in the UFC. Hell, not even in tennis. It's an aberration when you find somebody like a Serena Williams serving 120 miles, 25 miles an hour. That's ordinary for Jokic or Djokovic. That's ordinary for Sinner. That's ordinary for Alcaraz. That was ordinary for Sampras, Agassi, and all of these guys. We got to stop this. We got to stop acting like somebody that's speaking up on behalf of girls like a Sophie Cunningham, like a Riley Gaines, are scourges of the earth. You are Cheryl Reeve, the head coach of the Minnesota Lynx. That is an irresponsible thing to do. You are a coach for a female basketball team. Do you not think that the females are being screwed over if they have to compete against an individual born as a male?
Got to be more careful. Stephen A., he was going to go scorched earth. He's going scorched earth.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You trying to tell me that a college player for the men's at a college program anywhere in the country or an NBA player should transition to being a woman and be allowed to compete in the WNBA? Or on a collegiate level to a women's college program?
That is what some of them are saying. Yes.
Whether it's UConn, South Carolina, Iowa, Tennessee, or wherever else you want to come up with. What the hell are you talking about? It's not true. It is false. AJ DeBonza, not to throw his name out there, Darren Peterson, hell, pick a scrub. If you're a male and transitioning to female, you should be playing against the women. Nobody said you can't transition from male to female. The issue here is competing against the women. That's what Sophie Cunningham was talking about. That's what Riley Gaines is talking about. How are you, Coach Cheryl Reeve, and you could condone that? And then you're going to come out with a T-shirt. No regard for the WNBA. No regard for the sponsors that may be put off by that. No regard for the bottom line that might be affected because of a position that she has taken that you know is...
That's a great point. You don't give a shit about the business. You put your belief set front and center. WNBA just now getting traction. Boy, they are trying everything they can to lose the traction that they have gained from Caitlin Clark's popularity, now Sophie Cunningham's popularity.
Going to be politicized because that's what you did. No regard for that whatsoever. How is that okay? How? Because your spirit and your soul told you that's the right thing to do, so bump how it affects the collective brand of the WNBA and how they may be frowned upon by half of America when you need all the support that you can get in building your product is exceptional, as the league and these young ladies playing in the league have done in building the sport all of these years. And you just gonna come out there and wear that shirt, knowing it was going to bring attention to you and knowing that you're going up against the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, who obviously is the number one draw in the WNBA, which means cameras are rolling. It's just an accident or coincidence that that's the game you chose to wear that shirt, huh? This is the bullshit. It's the selfishness. It's putting yourself before the betterment of the whole. And it's creating a case that doesn't exist. To the trans athletes out there, people are not against you like some people may lead you to believe. There's a lot of people that are empathetic and sympathetic to the challenges that you face and are God-fearing individuals who wish you no harm and want you to live your best life and want you to do whatever you feel is right for you. But it can't be at the expense of young ladies born as girls, raised as girls. evolving into women, having a sport for their own that's infiltrated by others who are not born the way that they were. There are girls who are evolving into women who know who they are, and what they want to be as women. If you were born a male and you're transitioning into female, you are different. That difference does not give anybody the right to violate your civil rights and your civil liberties, or to do harm for you, or to excoriate you, or to mess with you, or to torture you, or anything like that, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. They don't have a right to do that. But you don't have the right to impede upon women's sports when you were not born a woman or a girl. That is unfair to those girls. And Coach Cheryl Reeve is thinking about Cheryl Reeve. And she's thinking, no doubt, about trans folks as well. Obviously, extremely liberal in that regard, which is her right, and there's no problem with that. The WNBA, however, did they know you were going to do that before you did that? Was that a coincidence that you wore it the night that you were playing the Indiana Fever, knowing that everybody watches wherever Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever go? Did you think about the collective challenge it would bring to the brand? Or the brand and the challenge it would bring to it collectively? Did you think about that? No, you didn't.
Let's stop it right there. Stephen A. Smith is absolutely right. That's the one part of all this that nobody's brought up, is the fact that you still have a league that 110%, we still do not have confirmation if it's ever turned a profit. We suspected they might last year, maybe. There were some indications, but nobody really knows. But for 29 years, the league never turned a profit. Maybe for 30 years. You're getting an audience and you're stretching into audiences that have not watched before. And some of them have not watched because they've heard, well, hell, these women are crazy. It's a political league. It's an activist league. And do I really want to support that? Do I really want to watch that? And you actually got two players now that people are tuning in, peeking in, and saying, I want to see what they're up to. I want to see what they're doing. Well, your league doesn't survive if you don't keep the people peeking in. So the first time that, knowing damn well you were going to have some folks tuning in just to see Sophie Cunningham because she's made the national news, Cheryl Reeve wore that shirt. Well, I wanted to give this league a chance, but look at the shit she's got on. Circus clown. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to sit here with my girls or my boys. I don't want them seeing that shirt. I'm not going to give them my viewership. I'm not going to buy their products if this is the kind of shit they're supporting. I'm not doing that. So instead, in a high-profile game, instead of thinking about the league you're trying to build, you said, nah, I think this cause is more important. And hence, Cheryl Reeve, people like Breonna Turner, these people are the reason why this league has never done anything. And if they get a chance to do something, they don't know how to not blow it. It's wild. Not only do they not care about blowing, but they'll get smart ass about blowing it. Like, you're the one with the problem. No, nobody watches you, so you're kind of the one with the problem. I wasn't watching. I can go about my day back to not watching. And again, the neurons aren't firing to tell them you only got the CBA money because of the new eyeballs coming in, but you want to push them right back out the door. Tell me what you think. Make sure you hit subscribe. Stephen A. I mean, I literally agree with almost nothing Stephen A. says. But I knew this one issue. This was an issue I knew he was not down with and has not been down with. And I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.